Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this presentation of the Master Population Health Management. My name is Sabine. I'm a first year student of the Master and I'm together with Marc Bruijnzeels. Marc, maybe you can introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, thank you, Sabine. I'm Marc Bruijnzeels. I'm the director of this Master, this brand new Master Population Health Management. And I'm responsible for everything what's going on there.
Well, nice of you to join us as well. So together with Marc, I will give you a presentation on this master's program and we'll go through several topics. First, we'll start with what is population health management and why is it important. We'll also look at what is the future job prospects if you join this master. Then we'll have a short Q&A session and then we'll go on with what the structure of the program is, what the master looks like, and also who are we looking for and some things about the admission. So before we start, I would like to ask you to join us in a presenter's wall. You can go via this link or you can scan the QR code. And during the whole presentation, you can ask us questions. So please do so because we'll have 2 moments where we'll look at the questions you asked. So now that we've had that, we can, I think, go on with the presentation. I think the most important thing we have to cover is what is population health management? Because I myself did not know about this when I first saw this master coming by, and I'm thinking maybe some of you have the same issue. So Marc, as you constructed this study, maybe you can tell us more. What is population health management and why is it so important?
Well, thank you, Sabine, for this question. Yeah, population health management is very important, we think, because it addresses several challenges that healthcare is facing these days. Within healthcare, resources are running out. So you can see that we have a lack of personnel in these days in the Western world. But you can also imagine that we have some affordability problems. So can we still keep up our healthcare system at the same quality and same level with the amount of money that we have to spend for it? Especially if you look at the changing epidemiology, which is the second challenge in this matter. We have an aging population. Coming with that aging population, we have changes in epidemiology. Multimorbidity is coming in. We are not only looking at single diseases anymore, but we are looking at more complex problems within persons, but also within populations. And as we see that those changes are there, you have to consider what kind of organization in healthcare do we have on the other side built during the last decades. It's an organization that we can say that it's organized within silos. So everything is organized, packed within its own system, small system. So we have a separate system for hospitals, and we have a separate system for welfare, and we have a separate system for health insurance, and somehow they have to connect with each other. And as the population is becoming more complex and the multimorbidity is coming in, you understand that the organization needs to adjust to that complexity. Well, next to that complexity, we have all those technological improvements which are coming in. And yeah, technology push is there. Hey, a couple of years ago, we didn't have iPhones either, but now everybody is playing with his smartphone all the time. So healthcare has to adjust to technological improvements as well. Well, these challenges are facing healthcare right now. But that's not the only thing. We also have much more come into play that we see that different populations, specific populations in different areas, have different needs. What you see on this slide is the map of The Hague, the place where this master is based. And you see the different colors, and they show that the different neighborhoods have a different demographic composition. And as I just said, that comes with different epidemiology, that comes with different complexity, and that comes with different organization. Well, if you look at The Hague and the different colors, where green are the young of the neighborhoods with a young population and red are the neighborhoods with an older population, you see that do we need to organize it all the same way in all those different neighborhoods? We think, coming from population health management, that different needs in different populations ask also for different types of organization. So health problems are unequally distributed, and that has consequences. So taking that all together, they are coming into the area of a new perspective on healthcare. We are not looking only at sickness and cure, but we are also moving towards the area of health and behavior. So we are looking to a more, as you can see on the slide, a life-centric model with consumers as co-creator of value. That means that we are trying to organize health and healthcare much closer to the needs of the persons at stake, of the persons living in the neighborhoods, and not only that it's steered only by the scientific literature that says that one size fits all and this is the best way to go to tackle this health issue. So all that together brings us to something new. And that's what we call population health management. And population health management is the approach to tackle these challenges which ask for an interdisciplinary approach. So it has a lot of interdisciplinary features. We tell it's a proactive approach to manage the health of a population. It's based on data. We live in an area where there's a lot of data available these days, so we use that based on quantitative and qualitative data analysis. Co-creation with the community and the providers. We, as specialists and experts, don't decide anymore alone what is needed, but we do it in co-creation with the right financial incentives, because we know money steers, we know that people follow the money, so yeah, you have to organize it in such a way that they follow the health of the population, and for that you need a supportive governance infrastructure. And if you look at the screen and at all those different features, you see we need an interdisciplinary approach. Well, we come from there, and that's why we built this new Masters. Well, Sabine, if I just said to you about this Masters, what do you think? You're first-year students, and now tell us a little bit about your thoughts about this.
Yes, well, when I studied medicine. I have a background in bachelor in medicine, and I did my first year of my master's. And when I first came across this study, it was actually at a point where I was feeling like maybe I was missing something in my studies. So I always wanted to become a doctor because I wanted to help people. But during my clinical rotations, what we call in Dutch kooschappen, I started to notice that maybe I was missing aspects of the healthcare that I wasn't really being learned about. And I started to shift, maybe I want to help people not by being their doctor, but by improving the healthcare system and the help they get. And that's when your master came across, and it felt like an answer to a question that I was having, and also felt like, yes, maybe this is the way I want to go as well. So yeah, I decided to make the switch. And since I made the switch, the most frequently asked question I get, and I'm having difficulty with answering it myself, is, okay, you're not becoming a doctor anymore. You're now doing population health management. What are you going to do in the future? What is your job going to look like? So Marc, you're an expert in the field, so maybe you can tell me and the people at home what we can be if we join this master.
Yeah, thank you for that question, because I think it's a challenging question, because a job like a population health management expert is not yet there. But what do we see worldwide? We see that it's a growing market, that people come into the area of population health management. If you look at the numbers at the left of the slide, they come from the US, and you see that the amount of money is spent in the population health management market is growing exponentially. The Affordable Care Act in the US, the NHS programs, the Vanguard experiments in the UK. If you look at Germany, what they are doing with as follow-up of the gesundes Kindsichtaal, there are all kind of population health management approaches that are being applied in different situations worldwide, but not only in the developed world. If you look at the right end of the slide, where we talk about India population health management market, and the prospects over there, it's growing and growing. I was just talking to somebody from South Korea, and if you see what's happening in South Korea, they're all searching for the same answers about how do we challenge, how do we face those challenges that I was talking about earlier. We need some kind of new way of organizing health and healthcare. So in fact, if you look at what your job prospect is that you contribute to the necessary change towards a future-proof healthcare. How does that sound, Sabine? Do you want to work in that field?
Well, yes, that sounds perfect for me. I already started this master, but I do find that it's still a little bit vague. Because you're saying it's a new job market, it might not be there yet, but are there examples, concrete examples of job vacancies that we could apply for?
Yeah, sure there are, and we prepared that question.
Of course,
we are prepared in this session. But yeah, there are career examples, and for example, you see on the screen that Philips Eindhoven, and Philips is you all know Philips worldwide, but they are really focusing on population health management as one of their key assets within their development of all their devices. They are looking for how can we implement those within areas where we are looking at the whole care continuum. And so you need to have people who know that working at Philips. Those are real lines out of real advertisements. Another vacancy that we found on the internet is from the Family Health Center in Chicago. They are looking for population health managers. That's some kind of the accountable care organization, that they are really looking for people who can and are able to connect all the different stakeholders based on a data-driven approach, really to steer the programs and the intervention into the right directions so that the patients are benefiting from that. So these are two kind of real vacancies that are there. So yeah, these are the leaders of the future for healthcare. Yeah,
well, that sounds good to me. And I think we now covered the population health management, what it is and why it's so important, and also what the job prospects are. So now we'll be going to the Q&A session. We're really curious if there are any questions that already have risen. Let's see. What is the difference between this master and the master's healthcare management in Rotterdam?
Oh yeah. Well, I used to work a couple of years ago, about 20 years ago, at the Masters in Rotterdam, and I'll still meet my colleagues over there. And where they really are good at, and they are focusing on, they have two masters, healthcare management, and they have health economics policy and law. And especially within the healthcare management master, they are really looking into how do you organize healthcare within the institutions? How do you become a real healthcare manager? Whereas we are looking much more for the people who want to combine the different stakeholders. So it's not so institutionalized where you start you work if you finish your job or your masters here in Leiden, The Hague, versus Rotterdam. Health economics policy and law is on the complete other side. That's more a focus on policy, and they are really good at it. They are internationally very good at it. But what they don't do, and what we do, is we start focusing on the area, the issues coming from the more from the medicine, more from the biomedical perspective of health problems within the body of a person, within a population, and start building healthcare from there. So not from the policy part, but more from the population needs side.
Different perspective.
Absolutely different perspectives. And those are also the difference in the paradigm shift.
Yes.
Do you steer from the policy level, or do you steer from the population need level?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Also a question, I'm not available from September, but I was wondering if I could start in January or February also.
We are a new masters, so we are not having an entry point on the 1st of February. So that's going to be difficult. We are not fit for that yet. But in the future, I think in a couple of years' time, we will have also the possibility that you start twice a year, but that's not yet possible.
Okay. All right. So I think we'll go on to the presentation. And I think we need to focus on what a population health management expert needs to be. What aspects do they need to have?
Well, we have looked into the literature. We have brought everything together, and we came up with a couple of important prerequisites for future population health management experts. We think, and that's also the basis of the curriculum and of the masters, that you need four pillars, four different expertises that are suitable for you. So the first is that you need to think and act and know about appropriate governance models, including payment systems. Secondly, you need to know about how people behave. So you need around healthcare, of course. So, but not only the people, but also the healthcare providers. They are very important. So knowledge about behavior of people and healthcare providers in different contexts. As I said before, population health management is a data-driven approach. So you need the data science techniques, you need the classical statistical techniques, but you also need a confrontation between those different techniques, a set of techniques, so the more classical and the more artificial intelligence, if you like, techniques. But coming always from a solid background, sufficient knowledge about the diseases, about etiology, diagnosis and prognosis of diseases. Because we think it's very important that the connection with the people who are doing the real care within the surgery rooms, within the consultation rooms, it's very important that we align with them, that their voice is being heard within the programs and the policy that we apply, that we impose on the populations. So a solid background for in medicine or in biomedical science is very worthwhile in this matter. But we didn't only look into the literature, but we also asked the employers, what kind of people are you looking for in the future? Well, and they came up with terms as we like an academic strategic partner that knows how to combine the various stakeholders, know their interests, and are able to make policy out of all those different interests and parties that within that complex system that healthcare is. They came up with the term as an academic broker between the various perspectives. We know, as population health management specialists, what the literature, what the state of the art in science is on different areas. At least we know where to find it, and then we bring it back to the practice level and to the policy level. So we are an academic broker. We are data specialists. That's what they ask for. So data specialists really analytics to steer behavior, that we try to combine all the different data sets and dots that are there all around people and populations, to combine those and come up with steering information, also within the surgery room, but also at the policy level. So for doctors and for policymakers. And we like what the employers ask for. It's a complex world. It's complex to steer your healthcare for a population. So we need persons with a specific knowledge, an implementator for that knows how to deal with that complexity. So if we say it's a complex transformation that we are facing, then we also need people who understand complexity and how to deal with that. So we brought it all together. And within that we made a couple of competences on which the whole curriculum is based. So in the heart you have population health management expert. That's the solid knowledge about population health management and what you need to do there. But around that we have a couple of competences that are more on how your attitude and what your skills are. So we have the data-driven thinking and acting, which is logic if you look at how important data is for population health management. We have the eclectic thinking and acting, and eclectic means it goes a step further than only multidisciplinary in the way that you are able to combine and take a point of view between the different perspectives which are there. You can look at things through different glasses. But that's what eclectic thinking and acting asks for you. Deliberate governance thinking and acting is that you combine the different interests. So eclectic is the different perspective, and these are the different interests of the different stakeholders, and you act upon that. So you're not only given advice, but you also start acting with the stakeholders on their interests. Well, of course, at the top you see academic skills. We are an academic master, so research methodology and stuff like that is coming in. And we have transformative skills. And transformative skills are skills that you get from us, which are needed because in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, healthcare will look differently from the way it is now. If you look back 30 years ago, it was different than it's organized right now. So you need skills to adjust, to transform yourself during the next decades, because it's going faster and faster, the alterations within the world. So those are the competences, and coming from there we build a 2-year program. And on this slide you see year 1, and the first year we made up 10 courses of about 4 weeks each course. And you see at the bottom of the slide that in the first semester those are kind of familiar terms: fundamental, study design, health and health behavior, governance and responsible data analysis. Those are subjects that, because you have a mixed classroom, people coming from different backgrounds, all the different students from the different backgrounds need to come a little bit at the same level. So we have different subjects chosen there, coming from the pillars we talked about earlier on. That the program in the first semester is built upon that. In the second semester we're going to mix up. So we're going to mix up the different disciplines, different perspectives. So you get courses on alternative payment models, on syndemics. We tell you later about what that is, predictive analysis, panel management next level, and implementation. And you see, and in syndemics it's really an example of a combination. It's a combination of medicine, social factors and data that you want to combine with each other within a synergy of different epidemics. That's in fact what syndemics says. So you see those are different kind of topics. Each course consists during the first year of 4 weeks. And in the first 2 weeks they're online. The third week is on campus and the fourth week is an individual week. So, and we do that 10 times after each other. Well, Sabine, you're now first year student, you have experienced a little bit. What do you think about this?
Yes, so I'm now currently at the start of my 3rd course. So I've had 2 courses now, and I have to say it's been very intense. I'm not going to lie, it is a master's program, so it's not easy. There's a lot of work, and the first weeks I was a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of deadlines and group assignments, but now I'm feeling like I'm settling into it. And the group assignments is also something that I'm really enjoying. Like you said, we have a classroom with different backgrounds. So we have students that already have worked for several years as a doctor. We also have PhD students. We have students that have economics as background. We also have students that have biomedical sciences as background. And by the groups assignments, you really comes to show the different perspectives we have on topics, and it really creates interesting discussions, and you really learn from each other. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it. It's not so much a single that you're doing the study on your own. That was also something I was worried about at the start, because it's quite online, the whole study. You have 2 online weeks, and you also have a finals week, which is online. And I was afraid that I wouldn't have a lot of contact with my fellow students. However, the project weeks are very intense. It's from 9 to 5. It's 5 days a week. So within 5 days, you get to know everyone. And you work so much together, and you talk. You're the only people you see the whole week, because at the night you're too tired to see anyone else, because you're just satisfied with the social contact you had. So you really get to know each other, and I feel like I have a good bond with my fellow students, so that's what I really like. And the project weeks also really combine everything you learned during the online weeks, and they really make that you process the information and apply it, and you really, at the end of the week, I've had 2 weeks now. At first, every time at the beginning, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I don't have the knowledge. And then at the end of the week, I was like, oh, damn, I actually did it. So yeah, it really helps and really makes you think, oh, I'm learning. And what I really, really enjoy, and I think that's a really good feature of this study, is that the teachers are very excited for this program. They are also very open for feedback. I was afraid that because it's a new master, so I'm one of the first students doing this master's program, I was afraid that maybe there would be a lot of problems, and there have been problems, I'm not going to lie, but it's mostly technical issues. But the teachers are very open for feedback and they really want to improve. So I think that next year the program will be even better. And also the teachers are very open for contact, especially during the intensive project weeks. It's not only the fellow students you see the whole week, it's also the teachers. So at the end of the week, you're very familiar with each other and it's very casual. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. But this is only 2 semesters, so I have 2 courses, sorry. So I have another 8 to go. And then at the end, we have the second year program, which I think is even more exciting because I get to choose whatever I want to do.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. The second year is open. We call it free format. So that means that within that second year, we really want to make an individually tailor-made program. So we are looking at the competences that the student wants to develop. We are looking at the interests of the topics, of the interests of where the student, what the interest of the student is on the topic they want to teach and to want to learn further. So you have the option in the second year to do courses, to do an internship, but there's one mandatory part of it, of course, that's a final research project. It is an academic master, so that is coming in, so there's no issue about that. But furthermore, you can combine it, you can go through it. We said you can choose one kind of specialization, epidemiology, governance, data science, syndemics. You see the 4 pillars again back in those, but you can combine those as well. You can do a second year on syndemics and epidemiology together. That's fine. So it's really, really free format. We now have the talks with the first group about who wants to go abroad. So we really stimulate that people want to go abroad for the second year, within Europe, outside of Europe, and if you want to go outside of Europe, well, you need to prepare early. So we are having those talks right now, and it's really very, very nice to see how that interaction between the student wishes and interest, together with what we know, what our network is, where we think that the next phase of your development could be, and that we try to combine it. So it's really also bringing population health management, but then for the students into practice based on their needs and on their wishes, but with our framework of quality and what we really like you to achieve. We try to make up your second year program. So I hope it is as exciting as you think it is. And
well, we'll have to see. I'm not there yet, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm very excited that you guys also help me to choose my course, so I'm not on there on my own.
You're not on your own.
No, and I think that also shows how involved you are as course directors and also as teachers in our study years.
Yeah, sure. But we teach this course, not in Leiden, although it is the University of Leiden, but we teach the course in The Hague.
Yes.
Sabine, what do you think of The Hague?
Yes.
Is it nice?
Well, it's always nice weather. As you can see, it's sunny outside now. I've been living in The Hague for 2 years now. I used to live in Leiden, and I really enjoy The Hague because it has everything you need. It has a nice city center, it has nice restaurants, but it also has a beach, which I think is a plus, even though the weather is not always beach weather. You can go there anyway. And the course is 2 weeks online, so you can do there wherever you are in the world or at home, and then 1 week project week where it's on a campus. So you can see on the slide that we have a very nice picture of the campus The Hague, which is a beautiful building where I study, and it's a library, but that's not where the campus weeks are this year. We are in Schouwburgstraat, which is a very nice old building, very characteristic, and it's very close to the station, so it's also easy to commute if you don't live in The Hague, which I think is an important aspect because we have a lot of students that don't live in The Hague and they are able to commute every day. And it's only once every 4 weeks, so that helps, I think.
That was also the intention of why we chose this kind of program. But if we continue and start saying who are we looking for for this master, if you're interested and you're interested in this master and look at the slide and you see what kind of people, kind of students we think are really suited for this master, is that you have a curious, research and innovation oriented attitude. You want to participate actively because also during the online weeks, but also during the on-campus week, there is a lot of interaction with your other students and you need to be active in that. You need to be open-minded because there are several different perspectives, different scientific perspectives, but also different stakeholders. So you have to be able to switch in your head between the different groups. It has an international orientation, though it's taught in The Hague, and we use the Hague city as a living lab later on during the courses when the students go out into the city to find out. We have, especially not only in the second year but also in the staff, there's international staff which is going to teach the students. We study this in close collaboration with the professional field. We hope this year we have 1 professional in the group. We hope next year that it's growing, and then you have a nice interaction between the work field that you're being prepared for, and the people who are working there already, and how that interaction goes. We ask you to have some kind of background in medicine. We think it's important that you understand the way diseases are mentioned, what is a little bit of the background of the diseases, that you can communicate with doctors and with other healthcare providers, because we think it's very important that you have that connection. You need to have some affinity with healthcare organization, because it's not only about medicine, but it's also about organization. And you need to have some skills in quantitative methods. It's hard to study everything and to learn everything if you don't have any affiliation with numbers and think, oh, numbers, I hate them. Then it's difficult. But it's doable. The admissions for a bachelor who are having a direct admission, that's a little bit the tough stuff or the boring stuff, but direct admission are on this slide. People coming from medicine, biomedical science, clinical technology, biopharmaceutical sciences, pharmacy, human nutrition, health sciences, veterinary science, health and society, and European public health. Those are directly admitted if you apply for this master's. For the others, we like the others all to apply as well, so don't worry about that. But then we ask you to have sufficient knowledge on medicine and on quantitative methods. So you'll have to prove that in a way. If you don't have that, don't worry. We can always, and we do that also with some of the students that started this year, there are some bridging programs that you can follow, mainly a bunch of courses online from different universities that you have to follow, and that you have to do the tests online and show us that you then have that kind of knowledge. Those are the people that have that we are looking for. So I think this is kind of the end of our talk. So yes. Now we really like to interact with you as we do during during the master as well.
So if you have any questions, we're very curious to see, and hopefully we can answer all of them. Can you be more specific for career prospects in the Netherlands? So we chose some examples, but more for the Netherlands, maybe.
Yeah. For the Netherlands, well, if you look now throughout the Netherlands, and then I would well, Philips is the Netherlands, so that is a large organization within here, within our country. But if you look at how healthcare is nowadays struggling with its challenges, and maybe you don't see that yet, but we do see that in every region, in every city, around all hospitals, all primary care organizations, new networks of, well, inter-organizational networks are being built right now. So the healthcare providers, the healthcare insurers, but also the municipalities, but also at the ministry level, if you look at, but also the regulatory bodies over there, they're all looking for and searching how do we organize healthcare in the future. For all those organizations, they want policymakers, they want policy advisors, they want program managers, and they want we call that academic trusted partners of executive boards, of the CEOs of organizations. In the data science, there are huge opportunities because there are a lot of smaller and bigger organizations who wants to develop within one of the largest economies of our country within healthcare.
Yeah, so that sounds promising. The next question is how many students are enrolled in this master approximately? So this year we started with 25 students.
Yep, and we don't have a maximum.
No, so next year we hope 100.
Okay. But if we double, if we start with 50 next year, we are very satisfied.
Yeah.
We are very satisfied. And that would be, that should be possible. 100 could also, then we have to manage a lot, but especially among staff, you understand, it's quite an intensive program also in the interaction with the students, especially during Young Campus Weeks. So we have to invest in staff then.
Yes, so I got a question, how are the more economic subjects for me, since I have a background in medicine? I have to be honest, we haven't had the full-on economic courses yet, so I've only had the fundamentals, which is more, had a little bit of economics put in there. That was fine. Of course, the first 2 weeks were a bit overwhelming because a lot of terms and a lot of things were new for me. They were all new frameworks. I've never heard of a framework before. I had to understand what is a framework and how does it work and how do I understand them. So far I've been managing with the stuff I've been learning, but I haven't had the full-on economics course yet.
Yeah, that's correct. The full-on economics course is in the 6th course on alternative payment models. It is economics, but it's not economics.
No. Because
it's applied economics. So if you have an open mind and you finish your bachelor, it should be doable.
Yeah.
Because then you have the brains for it to adjust and to adapt. Okay, you have to work a little bit harder if you're coming from medicine, but yeah, then instead of you're coming from economics, but yeah, that's the intention.
Yeah. Let's see, what does using big data techniques include? The knowledge of using SPSS or other things?
Others. SPSS is a start. And after SPSS, we teach the students now R. I must be honest, when I 30 years ago started my studies, we did SPSS the way you are getting R right now. So R is much more programming language yourself instead of all the commands that SPSS is giving you right now. In fact, it's not more difficult, but it gives you much more flexibility. Does it require a high level of knowledge in math and statistics? No, but you have to have affiliation with numbers. So you don't need to be scared of a big data set and columns and you have to combine that and correlation coefficients and stuff like that. It's not that you need to know that already yet, but you should not be scared about it.
No, and also now in the first course we get instruction of using R. So I've never heard of R before, so you really get guided through how you have to work with it. So I think that's important to know as well. Let's see. What's different advantages of this program compared to the master in Maastricht University if I want to be specialized in epidemiology?
I'm not completely familiar with the program that you're mentioning in Maastricht. However, if I think about colleagues who are working there, then I think what you do here is much more the combination of clinical epidemiology and public health epidemiology. Whereas I think Maastricht is much more focusing on public health epidemiology, and we also go into the hard stuff or the rare diseases and the very specific complications where public health stays a little bit away from that. So you can do our research also on an ICU, and I don't see a public health doctor do that kind of analysis over there.
Does graduating from this master prepare me to work with NGOs?
Yeah, also, you know, and yeah, it depends on the NGO. But of course, if you look at several NGOs worldwide who focus on the transition and the transformation of healthcare, going from sickness and cure to well-being and health. If NGOs focusing on that, then it's perfect. This master, it's perfect. Then you really start understanding that we take a societal perspective, that we really want the health of the population being that benefits from our inspanningen.
Yeah.
On what we are doing.
Yeah. All right. And someone's asking if it's possible to do the study part-time.
Maybe. Maybe. We are not into that yet. We have the 4 weeks. So the 1 week on campus is in fact mandatory. We really like you to be here, or if you don't have the opportunity, but we have to decide it together, then it's possible to join online, but it's not preferred. And part-time it is possible if you can manage your own time, but you really need to manage your own time. So it's not that you then do 20 hours a week or 15 hours a week studying. That's not going to work. So you need to do the full package, but you have the flexibility for yourself. But that's still hard. We are working on it.
Maybe for in the future.
It will be in the future.
Yeah,
but we started with a full program.
Yeah, full-on program. And I think the next question really relates to that. If it's possible to do the courses as electives, whilst also doing another master's, and if so, which courses would you recommend? Yeah,
that's an individual question, and I think then we have to know what kind of master it is, what your interests are. So, but in general, it will be possible to follow some of the courses separately. That is possible. That is possible.
Yeah. And which background bachelor do most of the students have?
You can tell that.
Yeah, well, looking at the class we have now for the people that started, I think we have a lot, it's very mixed. So it's not one bachelor jumping out of the room. It's we have biomedical sciences, we have economics, we have, medicine, we have health sciences. I think we also have people that worked in pharmacological areas.
Pharmacy, we have physical therapists.
Physical therapists,
we have exercise, sports management, we have midwifery. So it's all kind of, it is mixed, but they all have some affiliation with healthcare or being a health professional, but also with coming from like the economics part from the other side. So.
Yeah, it's very mixed, and we also, like we said, we have people that just started with their first master's program, but we also have people that have been working for several years already. Let's see, in which ways is global health and international focus part in this program?
Yeah, it's not a master's on global health. that's not. So if you're into really the developing world and want to go into Africa and into Asia to work there, then I would suggest to you do a master's in global health. If you want to start thinking about how do we organize health in such a way that it's more or less indifferent of which kind of population we are having, but there are some similarities, then it's really interesting to follow our masters. Also, if you want to work into the developing world, because those, I know some examples in Sudan, and they really want to apply population health management. In Ghana, on maternity care, they have applied population health management. So yeah, there is a global health a focus, an international focus. However, keep in mind that it's not only focusing on the developing world, but rather both on the developed and developing world.
All right. And there was also a question if there's an example of something you do during the project weeks. So looking at the courses we've had now, during the first course we had Fundamentals of Population Health Management. We had to think of a problem and create a population health management approach for that problem. So we're working on different aspects within that approach. And in the second course we had study design, and we had to write a grant proposal for a research question we thought of and then a research we wanted to conduct. And we had to write a grant proposal. So it's quite big topics, but you work in a group and you're amazed by how much work you can do within a week. It's really fun.
Which question shall we take?
I think if we anticipate international students to join in this masters, we have international students at the moment. We have someone from China, we have someone from Croatia, we also have someone in the USA who is not able to be in the Netherlands, so he's online.
Because of COVID?
Because of COVID, yes. And we also have, I think, someone from Syria, so we have quite an international group already. So that's, I think that's a lot of fun, yeah.
It is, and I imagine it to be difficult because of the housing situation. If that's a problem, well, I don't know exactly how the university goes around with that, but within The Hague, sure, as in all the cities in this country, there are some issues, but I haven't heard about big problems in The Hague yet. So that's it. And there's the question about why did I get interested in this master? From my experience, 35 years of experience in first primary healthcare and later on in healthcare in general, the main issue and the main topic we always encountered was that we started a project for a new way of organizing healthcare, and after that, when the money was gone, the investment was done, the evaluation was there, a PhD thesis was written and was nicely published, everything went back the way it was. And then we thought, with not only me but other people as well, we need to do something differently. We need to do something differently. So we really have to organize it in such a way that those new projects and those new ideas within healthcare get a more realistic chance of being implemented, so that the population really benefits from it. And coming from that perspective and that experience, we started thinking over here in The Hague, when we had the opportunity to start a new educational program, that masters should focus on that issue. Because that was not only an issue we had, but as I said before, a lot of employers have that issue. And within scientific literature, it became larger and larger and larger. So that's why.
Yes. With this being a new master, do you actively inquire about feedback from the students? In my perspective, yes. After every course, there's a moment, after every on-campus week, there's a moment where we actively tell our feedback, our tips and our tops, but also during the campus week themselves, the teachers come to us and ask, what did you think of the online weeks? What should we improve? How did you experience that? Because of course, in the heat of the moment, you always think of things, and then when you have to write it down, you forget the half of it. So I think that really shows that they really want to improve. And also, especially during study design, every day there was a meeting with the teacher, Q&A session. Every time you asked all the students, how are you finding it? Are there things that are not working? Are there things that need to improve for next year? So yes, they are very involved with getting feedback.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't do anything else, because it's in the heart of population health management. And
exactly.
if you implement new things and programs, that you start the feedback cycles, etc.
Exactly.
So your quality, your quality instrument should be in place for that. So that's what we're really looking for.
Yeah. And I think we've come to the end of the presentation now.
Okay.
I think if your question was not answered, we're still online for the chat. We have a chat one-on-one with our staff until 6 p.m. So if your question was not answered, please come back. And you also can visit our website for more information. But I think the most important thing and most fun thing is that you can join us on the next on-campus week, which is on Friday afternoon, November 19th. And you can become a student for a day, which is very nice. It's on a Friday, so that also means that you can join the drinks afterwards, because that's a big thing in the Netherlands, the vrijdagmiddagborrel. And I hope we can see you next year. Do you have any closing words for everyone listening?
No, I really enjoyed it, presenting this together with you, and I think it's very. I hope to see a lot of you on the November the 19th, because I think it will be a good way of looking at how we, what the culture is, how we want you to be a student within the Master of Population Health Management. And if you want to be that student and executive later on, that professional later on, that wants to become part of that movement of more future-proof healthcare, well, you know where the place to be. This is the place to be.
Yes, yes. And we hope to see you next year.
Thank you all for watching.